This is a video focusing on transformations with stretches and compressions, horizontal and vertical. So you've already been introduced to this slide, and I kind of took off the extra transformations. What I want to focus is on the vertical and the horizontal. So let's talk about vertical. To talk about a vertical function, stretch, it's going to be a multiplier in front of a function, in front of the square root, in front of the absolute value. If your number is greater than 1, it's going to stretch away from the x-axis. If you have a fraction, it's going to be compression towards the x-axis. So let's go and look at the example that I have set up. So what is the difference between stretches and compressions? On this first piece, I have a parabola. It's a quadratic function. F of x equals x squared. We've already graphed these parent functions. We know how to find the ordered pairs. We know how to evaluate. So this is what the original parent function looks like, what you see right here. Now what I want to do is talk about what does it look like if you have the multipliers. So I'm going to scroll down. To these two. All right. G of x in the red. If you notice there is a transformation happening, it's a multiplier. It's a number greater than 1. So how we say this is a vertical stretch by 3. The rule, it's always affecting, the vertical is always affecting the y-axis. It's stretching it up. It's making it skinnier. So as a rule, we're going to be multiplying every y value by 3. So the x is going to stay as it is, and we're multiplying every y value by 3. So if I come down to these boxes here, all of my x's stay as they are, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2 from its parent. And now we're going to multiply this column by 3. So you'd have 12, 3, 0, 3, and 12. Now if I just focus on graphing it, 0, 0, over 1, up 3. -1, up 3. It's going to stretch it and make it skinnier. All right, heading back. 1/3. 1/3 is a fraction. So it is a number between 0 and 1. So we call this, a vertical compression by 1/3. The rule, again, it's affecting the y values, the vertical axis. So the x is going to stay as it is, and now we multiply every y value by 1/3. So we're changing this column again. So I'm going to repeat all the x's. And now this will be 4/3, 1/3, 0, 1/3, 4/3. So how it looks as a graph is like that. All right. Now let's go back to this slide. We've just talked about the vertical, stuff in the green here. Now let's talk about the horizontal. Horizontal is a little bit harder to figure out because we have to think, number 1, for you to have a multiplier, it has to be in the function. So if I give you something like this, f of x, absolute value of x, it has to be in here. The multiplier has to be inside. So what we do is we flip that inside. We reciprocate it. There's going to be 2 scenarios. If my reciprocation is greater than 1, it's going to be a horizontal stretch. by that number. If, when we reciprocate it, I'm talking this number right in here, if you reciprocate it and you get a fraction, a number between 0 and 1, it's going to be a horizontal compression. And what that horizontal does is it affects the x values. So let's go ahead now, back to this slide. We've talked about that parent function for the parabola. Now here's what it looks like. This is inside the parentheses. So we have to take this inside the parentheses, inside, and we have to flip it, reciprocate it. So 1 over 1/3, when we flip it, we get 3. So that's going to be our multiplier. It's going to be our multiplier by the x's. So if we come back here to our blue, our number is greater than 1. So we are horizontally stretching it by 3. So we say horizontal stretch by 3. The rule, again, we're talking horizontal, x. So we're going to multiply every x by 3. So we get -6, -1, 0, 3, and 6. The y's stay as they are. We are not affecting the vertical. So graphically, probably should choose a different color here. Let's just do purple. -6 up 4, +6 up 4, 0, 0. So that's what it's going to look like. All right, last one. Here is our 3. It's inside. It has a parentheses. It's inside. So we have to think opposite. We have to flip it. 1 over 3. So that is our multiplier. So if we come back over here to our purple slide, notice our b is a fraction. So we say it's a horizontal compression by 1/3. Horizontal compression by 1/3. That's where we're going to multiply every x value, your horizontal axes, your x-axes. So we're going to multiply every x by 3. Nothing changes with the y. So multiply by 1/3. So we get -2/3, -1/3, 0, 1/3, 2/3. All the y's stay as they are. Now let's go look and see what it looks like. And there is our graph. So there in a nutshell is your 4 different types of vertical stretch compression, horizontal stretch compression. I hope that helps clarify.